Hello everyone, Sophie here, going live. I hope you're all well. If you're watching this from YouTube, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're watching this in my Facebook group, From Passion to Profit with Affiliate Marketing, well, welcome to my group. You're already in it. But it's absolutely fantastic to be live finally and get to spend a little bit of time with you. I haven't been very consistent over the last few weeks, have had a few technical problems, but normally my whole aim is to go live in the group and on the YouTube channel once a week on Wednesday afternoon. So going to try and make this a bit more consistent. If you have any questions for me for these lives, please post them. Either if you're watching on YouTube, in a comment below this video. If you're watching on Facebook, just make a post, send me a DM or comment underneath this video as well. Okay, so let's get right into it. The belief effect and how it is going to help you build and grow your online business. I hope you're intrigued. I'm so looking forward to sharing this story with you, and hopefully this is going to inspire you. So I said, oh, by the way, just real quick, I'm using a software to multi-stream in both places, on YouTube and on Facebook. It means that I cannot actually really see the comments. I can sort of see them, but I can't see who is commenting. So forgive me, I'm going to tell you the story and share how it's going to help you, and then I will go and have a look at the comments and reply. Okay, so I'm not ignoring you. Okay, so I'm going to share a little, I'm going to admit to something. I call this the belief effect, but it's not actually really the real name. The real name of this effect, which is a well-known effect, is called the Roger Bannister effect. I didn't entitle my live like this because I thought it wouldn't be so attractive. But this is a story that you may well have heard. It's actually quite a famous story. And I'd heard about it before. I'd heard it before, in fact, several times. But every time I hear this story, I find it so inspiring and so relevant to the online world, to building an online business, and so encouraging in a way that it just every time I think this is an amazing story, I've got to share it. So I'm going to share it, and I hope that even if it's familiar to you, you will actually enjoy it and it will inspire you just like it inspires me. So this is the story of the 4-minute mile, okay, and a record that was broken in 1954. I don't know if you've heard of this, but there's a kind of race which I don't know much about sports, but apparently there's a race that's called the 1 mile race, and you run 1 mile. And in 1945, somebody had a record, right, which was 4 minutes and 13 seconds, I believe it was. And between 1945 and 1954, everybody was trying to break that 4-minute record. Nobody, no matter how hard they tried, nobody managed, right? And it kind of became a bit accepted in the sports world, as far as I've understood, that this 4-minute record was unbreakable, that it wasn't really humanly possible to run a mile in under 4 minutes. And that, so people would try and break the record, but they didn't manage. And then there was this young British guy called Roger Bannister, and he thought it must be possible, right? If you can do this in 4 minutes and 1 second, surely you can do it in 3 minutes and 59 seconds, right? It must be possible. And he got on the path of mastering this, and lo and behold, on May the 6th, 1954, he broke the record at 3 minutes and something. I don't know. I haven't written that. Just under 4 minutes, right? It was something like 3 minutes and 59 point something seconds. Very, very close, but he had broken the record. And now this is amazing in itself, right? Okay, nobody believed it was possible. He thought, yes, I'll do it, I'll prove it, and he did it and he managed. That's brilliant, but that is not the point of my story. I don't think that's the biggest takeaway of the story. That's not what I feel is inspiring for your online business. What I feel is inspiring is what happened next. So bear in mind that for 9 years, people had been trying to break that record and hadn't managed. And then have a guess, how long did it take for another person to break? Well, in fact, for Roger Bannister's record to be broken, right? So his record of 3 minutes and 59 something seconds was broken, ta-da, in just 46 days. So 46 days after he had broken the record, somebody else came along, a guy called John Landry. He broke the record again. He broke Roger Bannister's record, right? So he broke, I wrote it down, he was at 3 minutes 57 seconds. He broke the record breaking, the other record. And then, as if that wasn't enough, over the next 12 months, so over a year, 300 people went on to break the 4-minute mile record. So they didn't break they didn't continue breaking until you got to like 1 minute, right? But they did break that 4-minute records that was seemingly unbreakable. 300 people in 12 months went and broke that record. And that, in my mind, is astounding, right? And psychologists and people have studied this, and what they came to the conclusion was that, for a long time, people believed it was impossible because everybody tried and they didn't make it. And then eventually there was this myth, this belief that it was not possible, that this 4-minute record was unbreakable. And then this Roger Bannister, he came and he did it and he broke the record. And this established a new belief that so this thing that seemed impossible no longer was impossible. And then people thought, well, if he did it, surely it's possible, right? It is possible. And then they believed it and then they did it. And, there's all these famous sayings. I believe that John Ford said, yes, who said this? Some famous person said it, whether you believe you can or believe you can't, you're right. And these are all cliche sayings that people say. But a story like that of Roger Bannister shows us that it is indeed true, right? It is indeed true. If you believe you can do something, you are much more likely to do it, to be able to do it, than if you believe you can't do something. If you believe something's impossible, then you won't achieve it. If you believe something is possible, then you will, okay? Now, there is an if, and I'm going to go into this in a minute, but just let this sink in for a minute. This is incredibly powerful. That 300 people in a year broke that record that for 9 years was unbreakable. I mean, this is not by chance, right? Now, I'll tell you one thing. There is a big if, having said that, is I do think, and maybe I'll be a bit controversial here, but, belief is not enough. Because, I can believe completely that it's possible to run a mile in less than 4 minutes. But if I go outside now tonight and I run a mile, I'm not going to break that record, right? I'll be glad if I run a mile in 15 minutes, right? And why is that? Not because I don't believe in it, but because I haven't taken the action that's needed to get in the physical shape needed to break that record, right? So if you have only the belief and not the action, it doesn't work. If you have only the action and not the belief, it generally doesn't work either. But where this thing about belief is magical is that when you have the belief, then you're able to take the necessary action that's going to lead you to the outcome that you want. And as long as you have the doubt and you don't truly believe that whatever you want to do and achieve is possible, then you maybe even unconsciously, you're not going to take the full action that you need to take to get to what you want. Does that make sense? So in the case of the 4-minute mile, right? If you have the belief that it's possible, then you're going to train, you're going to do all the exercise you need to do, you're going to eat the right stuff, you're going to sleep the right amount, you're going to do, I don't know, all the things that a sports person has to do, right, to get to the physical level of fitness they need, and the endurance and all this kind of stuff they need to break that record. And at the same time, the reverse is true as well. So if the athlete goes in thinking, that's impossible, then they are going to, as I say, maybe even unconsciously, they're not going to take all the action they need to get in the physical shape that they need to get the result that they want. And the reason I'm sharing all this with you, obviously, is that the exact same happens in business. So, if you're trying to, I teach affiliate marketing, so I talk about this, right? It's valid for anything you want to do online, let's say, or any business you want to do, indeed, anything you want to do in life. But let's take the topic of affiliate marketing. If you go into affiliate marketing, doubting that it actually works, thinking this is just probably a scam, right? This is probably a load of rubbish, and all these people selling me this model, they're not really making money, they're all liars, and this is never going to work, right? So if you go in with this attitude, but you think, oh, well, I don't believe it, but, I'll still sign up for that cause, right? Then you're obviously not going to take the right action. If you go into it, not going to take the right action to succeed. If you go into it absolutely certain that this is something that works, that this is a valid business model, that other people have done it, and there's no reason why you can't do it, then you're going to take the action that's necessary to give you success, to grow your audience, to give you sales and all this good stuff. Does that make sense? So this, I think, is where the belief is so important. Believing it can be done doesn't magically get you the results. If I just get up in the morning and I say, I believe I can make money with my business, and then I just don't do anything at all, right? I don't send emails, I don't go live in my group, I don't publish videos, I don't run my ads, I don't do anything. I just have a good time. I keep telling myself in my brain, this is going to work. I totally believe in this. Well, of course, I'm not going to make any money. It doesn't work like that. It's not magic. However, because I believe it works, in my situation, of course, I know it works because it's been working for a long time with me. But you know what I mean? But this knowledge that it works gives me this complete, I have this complete certainty that it works because it works. I know it works. So therefore, I take the right action day after day after day to continue to make it work.